David, welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm so excited for this podcast recording. I can't even tell you.
Hey, Carrie, how are you? I'm happy to be back. It's been a little while.
It has been a little while longer. Time goes so fast. So I want to hear you. You gave me a little teaser before we hit record you have so much to tell us.
Yes.
So without further ado, what is getting you out of bed these days? What are you so excited about?
Well, I think if you recall a couple years ago, you were diagnosed as possibly having a colorectal cancer or something along those lines.
Yes, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Yes.
Okay. So I ended up having, after that, something similar, a colorectal cancer, an anal cancer, a squamous cell carcinoma. And come to find out now, putting all of the information together, all of the learnings from over the several years, turns out I've had this cancer. The doctor told me the size of the cancer that it had been growing for at least 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
So when I go back in time, and I see that there was something different about me. And this was, I was still married to my previous wife at the time. But I recall that around, I don't know, maybe 2012, 2013, that during the wintertime, it seemed like I would sweat a lot. But not so much in the summer, but if I am covered up, that I would sweat. Well, long story short, come to find out that all of these mega night sweats, and they only got worse over time. Turned out it was my body fighting cancer while I'm trying to sleep. And when I would wake up in the morning, I am wiped out, tired, voraciously hungry, and because my body's been working all night, so I'm already wiped out. And so in 2022, I went through cancer treatment. I was offered, or I went after proton treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I have all of these people in the cannabis community that I have these relationships with, all of a sudden I've got all these people that are making various CBD concoctions, that are attached to doctors that use their stuff for cancer.
Yes.
And so now all of a sudden, instead of having the option of doing chemotherapy, I now have the option of doing high dose vitamin C and CBD with some THC and CBGA, another cannabinoid found in the cannabis and hemp plant.
Yeah.
So let me share with you about my night sweats.
Yes, I am riveted because I also had those night sweats.
Okay.
And so I'm ready.
Okay.
Pen in hand.
So one of my friends who's a researcher, a cannabis researcher, Michael Robinson, he put together some stuff for me. It was a variety of cannabinoids. I think the main cannabinoid was CBGA, and it had some other terpenes and stuff in it. And so his instructions to me were, okay, so you're going to bathe in this. You're going to let your body soak in this so that your body soaks up all of the cannabinoids. So as my wife says, my current wife, she tells me, sometimes you're like an Olympic swimming pool in the middle of the night. And so Mike makes this thing for me, the CBGA. And the first night I get it, I fill up the bathtub, I put in my 3 tablespoons, I get in, soak, get out, and my body went from having 100% sweats the night before to maybe 1% that night. It had that huge of an impact on my immune system.
Wow.
So all of a sudden now, so every night during treatment, I'm soaking in this and the CBGA. So it's just a regular bath. with a cannabinoid from the cannabis and the hemp plant, CBGA, with I think CBD, CBVN, or there are a few in there and I don't remember them all. It's been a little while, so forgive me for not remembering what's in there. But there are a few things in there. But the night sweats were like, just came to an almost halt.
Wow.
Just the first bath. And so what it did is my body was having these cytokine storms. And so what those storms do is it's a reaction to what's going on with the immune system fighting against something foreign in your body. And so these cytokine storms were coming out as mega sweats in the middle of the night. And all of a sudden now these mega sweats are gone. And I just like, I can't believe that these cytokine storms now are being calmed after taking this bath each night.
Wow.
And so I went through 7.5 weeks of proton therapy. And so because I had all these phenomenal doctors who are in cannabis, and I had a pharmacist who is an MD, and he turned his back on the medical world and went straight to now only what is the term? He doesn't prescribe opioids, he doesn't do any of that stuff. It's all strictly natural stuff that he uses. And he works with about 1,600 other doctors. And he works with another friend of mine, Christopher Holliger, who is the one who made the advancement in nanosizing the CBD molecule. And so between these two guys, you know, I'm getting all this good medication. And the pharmacist, you know, he's telling me, okay, this is what you've got to eat. This is what you have to eliminate. He's telling me what things that to take, because not like pawpaw. He can't sell pawpaw as a pharmacist because it's known to be used in cancer treatments. Funny, but he can tell me verbally, right?
Okay.
So I know that's crazy.
Yeah.
So this was all in 2022. And so we're coming up on a year for treatment. I think July is when I started treatment, the middle of July. So it'll be a year. And so I've already been to my first checkup, so far clean, very good. And so I used CBD with CBDN, CBG, THC. I had a period of time where I used some Rick Simpson oil, which was a little too potent for me. It was just too much for me because I still have to function during the day. And so I'm taking these, you know, a lot of CBD during this time, you know, orally, some rectally. And, you know, after treatment, you know, I'm going in for my checkups now, and I'm just like, there's nothing there. It's gone. So I'm not in remission yet. I still got 5 years to go, or 4.5 years to go,
Yep.
right, to be considered in remission. So it's still too soon. I've only had my first checkup, and which was good. I did a PET scan and CT scan, and, you know, CBD with some THC had a huge part in my treatment and in my recovery.
Yeah. And wow, I am speechless. I have been taking notes, but then I just stopped and stared and listened because this is fascinating to me. It is so fascinating to me.
It is so much information there.
Yes.
You know, for those who watch now, maybe you don't know that, you know, the last time, you know, I was on, we talked about my book and doing CBD and using it for various ailments such as pain management and stuff like that. And so now, since I've been with Carrie, I've been on CBD with some THC for cancer, and it had a big impact with some other stuff. So that's why we're talking so much about CBD, is because that's, you know, what I do. I deal with CBD and pain management for my own physical being. So that's kind of what's happened since the last time we spoke.
Wow. Yeah, that I know, right? Like, And I shared with you before we started recording, we were trying to, excuse me, determine how long it had been.
Yeah.
And we were saying, well, maybe a year. Well, no, because my mom was reading your book.
Yeah.
And she has since passed away of colon cancer.
Oh no.
Same cancer, same
Yeah.
cancer that took my brother and her sister. We found out we also carry Lynch syndrome.
Oh my goodness.
So this topic is very
Near and dear to you.
yes, because with the Lynch syndrome, I mean, what they have told me is, well, you've been diagnosed now, probably, 10 years, you'll probably die of some kind of cancer. And I'm on this quest of, nah, I don't
Nuh-uh.
accept this.
Yeah.
I realize I'm missing a gene. I'm missing the cancer fighting gene in my
Oh,
body, which came through my mother. I mean, we were able to find that out before she passed away, which is why I rushed her in for a colonoscopy, some things that were going on. They kept saying she didn't need another one. Once she was diagnosed with Lynch syndrome, me first, then they tried to find out which parent it came through. It was obvious it was my mother. She tested positive. I rushed her in for a colonoscopy where they found massive tumors. And she died 19 days,
no.
19 days from cancer diagnosis to when she died.
Oh my gosh, Carrie.
And yeah, it's been a journey. So there's been a lot for both of us. And hearing what you're saying though, is like, I just want to hold every word and squeeze every bit of knowledge out of it that I can,
Yeah.
because healing my body naturally is so important to me. And I've been using a product with CBD, CBN, a little bit of THC at night for sleeping. It's called, it's a 1-to-1-to-1, but there's no CBG in it.
Okay.
I don't believe.
Okay.
So this is where I'm holding on to everything going, okay, what do I need to add in? Because I don't ever want to hear those words again. And I have a dear friend that's just been diagnosed with a cancer that she's just desperate to treat this holistically. And so I'm already like,
you know what?
You gotta listen. You gotta listen to this.
My pharmacist turned me on to something incredible. So I've been doing a lot of research. So high dose vitamin C.
Okay.
So it's 100-to-1 vitamin K3. Now K3 is not a real vitamin. I guess it's a synthetic vitamin, but when it's mixed with vitamin C, 100 parts vitamin C to 1 part vitamin K3, it causes cancer cells to turn on themselves and to kill themselves. And so when my pharmacist told me about this, like, whoa, okay, because he was a part of my cancer team.
Yeah.
And so he made a cream for me to put on my groin area to help prevent the burning.
Yeah.
So I probably was spared a whole lot more burning than what I got because I was using the cream, but I still did have some burning. But vitamin C and K3 turns out it's a very high cancer killer. I forget the term that it's used, but it causes the cells to turn on themselves and to kill themselves. So keep that in the back of your mind, because if I ever get it again, now, and that version is you do an injection each day, like the water bags, the safe solution bags. So you do like something like that in a day. So, and if that isn't possible, then you can still do, I don't know if you know who Chris Wark is.
No.
He's got a site called Chris Beat Cancer, and he had massive intestinal cancers and stuff like that. And now he's got doctors that work from, he beat it. He didn't do the chemotherapy. He's all straight nutrition. And there's a lot of people that have found healing from cancer following his, if not every one of them, because not every cancer can be beat with nutrition, but that's what he does now. And he works in nutrition. And so he has a vitamin C. He's aware of that protocol. And I found a high quality vitamin C through him on Amazon. So I still take that as as a backup, not
Yeah.
every day, but and if you do something like that, like if you can't afford the IV vitamin C and you're on your own, then that's the next step, is to do it orally.
Okay.
And if you do it orally, what you do is you start out with a high dose. And see, what happens is with a high dose, you're either going to absorb it and have no issues, or you're going to immediately begin to have diarrhea. And so if you get diarrhea, then okay, that's the indicator that, okay, that's too much. And then we need to dial it down. And we dial it down until we no longer have the runs. And that's how we know how much our body's able to take at that time. And what's funny is my body now can only take half of what I could do a year ago.
Really?
So my body can't tolerate as much vitamin C now because it doesn't have that need.
This is so fascinating.
Yeah. There's a lot of research out there on vitamin C and K3. Go dig in and
Yes.
find it.
I wrote my notes down.
Vitamin C is a blessing. I mean, it does so many things,
Yeah.
And so for those watching, that's just another area. I've got a friend that is on her third round of chemotherapy. And so she has a blood cancer. And so this particular chemo that they're doing on her now is just, I mean, it's really potent. And basically what happens is chemotherapy, it wipes out your immune system and you have to start all over again. And I just, if I've already got cancer, why do I want my immune system to start over again?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it does more damage than it does good.
I've often thought that. That's often been my opinion. And faced with my own cancer, it was, now what do I do?
Right.
Now what do I do?
Right.
And I am someone who is constantly on the lookout for a natural way to help my body. So I'm having trouble sleeping. Melatonin was not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It just left me feeling hungover.
Oh, okay.
Every single day. It didn't work for me. And I didn't want a prescription for anything. I just wanted to find something.
Right.
This product that I'm using is amazing. It's the 1-to-1-to-1. I can only take half.
Right.
It's a gummy. I bite it in half. One is too much, but it took a long time to search these things out. So talking with someone like you, who can bring these things to the forefront and share so openly. And thank you for that, because a lot of people aren't willing to. They're embarrassed by, I mean, I can remember sharing about my colon cancer and a family member saying, "Are you sure you want to be spreading that around?" Like,
I know people have said that to me. And it is kind of weird feeling to share. Yeah, I had cancer, but I'm a cancer survivor.
That's right.
I'm a survivor.
Yes.
And that's even bigger. So I have no problem sharing the story. Yeah, it kind of feels weird saying I have anal cancer, especially in today's day and age.
Yes.
It's a very rare cancer. Out of about 2.5 million people that are diagnosed each year, about 7,000, between 5,000 and 7,000 are diagnosed with what I have.
Wow.
Generally, it's higher, predominantly higher in Black men over 50 and white women over 60, the one that I have. And it's between that and 80. And so, but I'm not excluded, others are not excluded. It's just predominantly high in those particular categories of people. And so, but anybody is susceptible to it, and it's a skin cancer, really, is what I was told. Boiled down, it's a skin cancer, but it's on the inside. Get it from the sun, but
Yeah. And the thing is, by you talking about it and sharing these things that you learned by going through this journey, there are lives that you are literally saving.
Yes.
By speaking out.
Yeah.
And being so open about it. there are still a lot of people who I talk to who won't even consider CBD, who won't even consider
Yeah.
even like looking at a bottle of it. To me, I feel very strongly that if God put something on this earth that can help heal us, I'm willing to be a guinea pig.
Yes. Yes.
I'm willing to try
It
it.
comes from a plant, and we, the
Yes,
American people, are at war with a plant.
with a plant.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what's funny? That plant, so there's 6,000 years of recorded human history. That plant has been transferred, and the information has been transferred from generation to generation, from mom to child to mom to child to dad to child to mom to child, all throughout history until we got up to the 19th century. And then we decided to say, oh, you know what? This is bad. We can't use this. This is making people wacko or whatever. And yet there were Eli Lilly, Pfizer, and another large drug pharmaceutical company that's still around today. Those three, up until the 1920s, they all had a cannabis compound that was used for about 100 different ailments.
No kidding.
And so once we illegalized that plant, all of that knowledge that was transferred throughout history and through time and through, each generation, we've lost probably 95% of that.
Yeah.
All of that knowledge that we should have.
Do
And
you
so I
feel,
find that kind of a real, that's a terrible situation.
yeah,
Plant, and God said in the word, in the Bible, that, plants are here for our food, and it's a plant that you can eat. And I eat it every day, believe it or
yeah.
not. I eat it every day.
There's been so much research and proof on the healing properties. I know when I was diagnosed with cancer, I was watching every documentary I could get my hands on. I just watched everything over and over again because I wanted to live, and I
Right.
didn't want to just survive. I wanted to come out healthier and more whole and thriving than I
Yeah.
had been going into the journey.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that my diagnosis was in December of 2020. My mom's was in May of
Okay.
2021. And hers was so far advanced. And I just decided there holding my mom as she was dying in my arms that I would use my voice to make sure this never happened to anybody
Yeah.
else. Because it could have been, it
Mhm.
could have been prevented, it could have
Yeah.
been cured.
Yeah.
There were so many things. And so when we were talking before we started recording, I miss my mom. I will miss her every day of my life that I live. I miss my dad. I mean, I know that it's a normal part of life to
Yeah.
lose people as you get older. And I won't let what she went through go unspoken about. I want people to know. And your story has just, I'm very rarely left speechless, but I really am. I really am left speechless. And I want to do everything I can to help get that message out there. I mean, you're living proof of what is truly possible
Yeah.
when we attach to the right thing, which in this case is not the conventional way.
Yeah. Correct. Chemotherapy.
Yeah. Yeah. And house, I have had people say to me, and my mom was one of them, I don't want to just get more sick and die anyway.
Right.
And at that time, I just didn't have the same knowledge that I have now. I had no idea how to help her.
Right.
None.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's been I mean, I was giving her CBD. By then she
Mhm.
had, I mean, she read your book and then she was like, can we get some CBD? Yes, mom, but we need to
Yeah.
get good CBD.
2020. Wow. So it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it was that long ago
I
since
know.
we were on. Wow.
I know. But she really was tapping into the whole CBD
Nice.
conversation, and
Nice.
she loved your book. I think she read it 3
Nice.
times. I found it in her bed, like in her bedclothes. When we were
Wow.
moving her into a hospital bed, she was still actively reading it. She was reading that and a book on brain health and a book on the blue zones. What she was reading
Wow.
when she was dying. She never
Nice.
stopped. She was a brilliant woman.
Wow.
And
Well,
I'm just, I want, what can I do to help get this message out there? David, how can I help you to keep spreading this message? Because it needs to be out there way,
it's
way more.
it's a daily thing. It's, you know, you don't always get a lot of opportunities to go out and to talk and to share with people,
Mhm.
but you know, on a stage. But you know, you still can, when you meet people, talk with them. You can meet with cancer survivors and chat with them. You can meet with people who have cancer and chat with them and be a support and share the things that you've learned.
Mhm.
You know, for me, I share everywhere. So I'll tell you something else that's coming up, and I will be sharing is in August. So we're in the year 2023. In August of 2023, I'm turning 60. And so I'm a cancer survivor. Also, you know, in my youth, I was an at-risk youth, and I was always in trouble. And so this August, for my 60th birthday, I am doing a 60-minute board-breaking challenge with my martial arts school for a foundation to raise money for at-risk youth. So I'll be
Wow.
karate chopping boards for 60 minutes. And I haven't done this before, but I'm preparing.
Wow.
I'm preparing, and so I'll have opportunities to be on the stage to talk, because I will be part MC, and I will be talking about, you know, overcoming cancer
Yeah.
and, you know, some of the challenges and some of the things that I used. And I'm going to try, so I'm going to have like 30 vendor booths there at my event. It's going to be a huge event. I've already got the radio stations will be broadcasting live. I got 30 vendor booths, etc. And I would like to get a cancer support group there to be one of the vendors, and I'm going to give them the booth, you know, so they can be
Wow.
there to share, you know. So I will talk about this, you know, being a cancer survivor,
Mhm.
you know, that CBD was a part of my treatment, and so I'll be sharing that, and that's what we'll be doing for my 60th birthday, breaking boards. And that's going to be a crazy event. I'm having a lot of fun preparing, you know, hitting
Yeah.
boards, preparing your hands. It hurts. It's not easy, but you know, when you break a board, man, it's just like, it is so much fun.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Believe
it's going
you.
to be for at-risk youth and disadvantaged seniors, you know, so that's kind of going to be my platform this coming August, to kind of share my story, who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll be broadcast on 96.3, the country station, which will be cool. And
That
because
is
they're going to be there broadcasting live. And
wow. And are
yeah.
you getting like sponsors for breaking
Oh
boards and stuff?
yes.
So how can we get a link to say, hey, I'll sponsor you to break 60 boards?
Well, okay, I'll email you some information.
Okay. And
And
I will put it in the show notes.
my big finisher, so I won't be the only one breaking boards. I'll have other students there breaking boards also.
Okay.
But my big finisher will be to do 60 boards in 60 seconds. So I'm a little, you know, but I'm preparing. I am
Yeah.
preparing, you know, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So out of something bad comes something good.
Always.
Yeah,
Always, if we keep our eyes open to it.
yeah, yeah,
Always.
yeah,
Absolutely always.
absolutely.
We just need to be aware of that and accept it into our lives. This is very exciting.
Yeah,
So yeah, share those with me. I'll put them in the
I
show
will.
notes. And for
Okay.
everyone listening, I know people don't really go to show notes, but today you are. Today you're going to the show notes and you're going to click those links and get involved. And And let David know how much this story has impacted you. I truly believe that almost everybody who listens will either be a cancer survivor, be in the midst of cancer treatments, or know someone who is.
Yeah.
It touches so many of us in so many ways. And this is information that we need to spread. Share this podcast out with as many people as you can.
Yeah.
If you're listening on a podcast app, head to YouTube and share out the video, because by the time you hear it on a podcast app, it will be live on YouTube. So go there, share the voice and the picture version so you can see David biting his nails. But share it out there. Let's get this message out there. This is important.
Absolutely.
This is
Yeah.
literally a matter of life and death. So let's show
It
our
is.
support. Mhm. So give us, if you would, a journal prompt.
A journal prompt. What have I done today that has helped me overcome to help me be better in the future?
Mm.
So what have I done today that will help me overcome to be more successful? Well, I can say that today, just sharing this with you has already added to my life and will make it more successful, just because it's another resource to share with those who are walking through the same path that you and I have walked.
Yes. Oh, I have chills. I have chills. So what is your version of your Pow Pow shoes then?
Okay, so explain that to me a little more. Give me some definition.
You can answer that question however you want. It can be like, literal sparkly shoes that say POW on the toes,
Okay.
or it can be a superpower. It can be something that is driving you right now. It can be a person. You can answer that question however you interpret it.
My Pal Pal shoes. I would have to say my Pal Pal shoes would be the leadership of Cornerstone Martial Arts and Leadership Academy.
Mm.
They are the ones who they walked with me through the diagnosis and the treatment. And so there are, the school owner is a 5th degree black belt. He's got 2 black belts that are his teachers, and he's got several in the pipeline. I'm one of them. I am pretty close to becoming a black belt now.
Congratulations.
A little more to go. And so the teachers and the assistant teachers like me who are learning to become teachers all walked with me through this, supported me and carried me. Those are my shoes. Those
That's
are my Pal Pal shoes.
powerful. Thank you. Where can we find you? And this will all be linked in the show notes, but
Okay.
tell us where we can find you.
So you can find my website at thecbdwriter.com.
Mm-hmm.
My book, which I didn't have with me, but I'll have it here.
Yes.
Without the glare. So 7 ways to manage pain with CBD. You
Mhm.
can find that on Walmart. You can find that on Amazon and the Barnes and Noble website. You can
Awesome.
find it there.
And it's a fabulous book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It is so good. So much information there. And maybe it would help with some of the misinformation that is out there. Actually, I know it does. I know it does.
Actually, since we last spoke, also, there have been some major updates. I don't know if you can see that.
I can't see it clearly.
But okay, so on the back, we have Dr. Michelle Weiner, DO, MPH, who is a double board certified interventional pain management doctor. I've got 4 doctors on the back here.
Wow.
That have read it and given their approval. And they all say, almost every one of them say that even the doctors should read this so that they are caught up to speed immediately on how to use CBD.
Yes.
And so that's the new back cover that came out during my cancer stuff.
Now I'm gonna have to buy another copy then. I want the newest one, man.
Yeah.
I will make sure I have that in my hands. And I can't thank you enough for being so authentic, so open, sharing this story so truthfully, so vulnerably. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be anxiously watching your journey. You know, you'll come back on the show
Yes.
before 3
Yes.
years this time.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely.
And we
Absolutely.
want to keep hearing about what you're up to, who you're becoming, the shoes you're stepping into, all the things.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.